What is called genius is the abundance of life and health. 1. Acceptance and gratitude. Our bodies are a wondrous gift, the vehicle through which we engage with the world around us. Yet how often do we truly appreciate this gift? We fixate on imagined imperfections, comparing ourselves to airbrushed ideals that few can attain. We constantly want our bodies to be something other than their natural state. The Stoic sages urge us to instead accept our bodies just as they are. Do not waste mental energy wishing for longer legs, fewer wrinkles, or a metabolism that hews closer to our wishes. Our bodies are the product of nature and circumstances, things outside of our control. Wishing them to be otherwise is illogical and harmful to our serenity. Besides, our societal standards of beauty are ephemeral. If we tie our self-worth to such fleeting things, we set ourselves up for needless distress. Our attention is better spent nurturing virtue and using our gifts wisely. Asymmetrical features or cellulite do not prevent us from working to make the world more just, connecting with loved ones, or appreciating beauty wherever we find it. So too with illness or disability. Disease and impairment are inevitable parts of the human experience. Fretting about them serves no good end. It is better to remain engaged with life despite limitations, drawing on inner reserves of courage and resilience. Epictetus could still teach, despite his lameness. We too can find purpose and meaning no matter our situation. We must cultivate profound gratitude for our body's marvelous capabilities. The human form is a masterwork. Every tendon, gland, and synapse has been fine-tuned over eons. Our senses bring us beauty and rapture with little effort on our part. We exercise such intricate motor control that we can write poetry and play violin concertos. Even basic functions like breathing, circulation, and digestion sustain us seamlessly. Contemplate deeply the astonishing creativity on display in your every heartbeat, blink, and swallow, which you did not will into being and could not have designed. We use this embodied awareness as a gateway to presence, wonder, and transcendence. Our existence is fragile and fleeting. Soon enough, this vessel that houses our consciousness will be no more. So let us honor it while we inhabit it, tend it gently, free from unrealistic expectations, and open ourselves fully to the experiences it makes possible while we draw breath. This is the path of radical acceptance and profound gratitude. 2. Mind-body unity. The mind and body are intimately interconnected. We cannot neatly separate our thoughts and emotions from our physical form. Each shapes the other in an ongoing dance across the years of our lives. As rational beings, we may like to believe that, with enough willpower, we can transcend the fluctuations of physiology. Hunger pains can erode serenity, while chronic pain or illness wears down mental resilience. Even on subtle levels, things like posture, facial expressions, and breathing patterns reinforce emotional states. Our mind alone does not determine these outcomes. At the same time, focused mental discipline shapes the body in turn. With consistent practice, new thought patterns could be forged. Over time, these can influence everything from hormonal balances to the automatic reactions of the nervous system. By working to cultivate qualities like courage, moderation, and equanimity, we gradually alter the physiology underlying our moods and behaviors. This interplay between mind and body has profound implications for how we live. It reminds us that caring for the whole self is not vanity, but wisdom. Good nutrition, adequate sleep, and regular exercise, these strengthen both physical and mental vigor over the long term. They help harmonize body and mind, keeping each in tune. In times of particular stress or affliction, extra self-care helps bolster psychic resilience. Be especially gentle with your body so that your mind has the resources to weather the storm. And when the mind grows restless or frayed, grounding physical activities like meditation, nature walks, and creating with one's hands can restore inner calm. Ultimately, we are not souls trapped in a crude physical shell, nor are we simplistic robots carrying out the dictates of our brain chemistry. We are a woven tapestry of interconnecting threads, physiological and psychic in nature. Attending compassionately to this whole self allows us to flourish. Discipline and nurture, applied in tandem to both mind and body, help us progress smoothly along the Stoic path. With a clear understanding of this unity, we can live more harmoniously within ourselves. 3. Moderation in all things. The ancient Stoics counseled moderation in all aspects of life, including our care for the physical form. As with so much else, they saw virtue as a balance between extremes. We should pursue sufficient nourishment and activity to maintain health without tipping into gluttony or excess. Food and drink offer a prime example. Epicurus spoke directly to this balance, urging followers not to gorge on rich delicacies or overindulge in wine. Such habits drain our energy, disrupt bodily processes, and may culminate in illness. Yet strict deprivation is equally unwise, leaving one thin, frail, and obsessed with cravings. The Stoic sage eats simple, wholesome foods until satisfied but not stuffed, avoiding unhealthy excesses. The same principle holds true for physical exertion. Regular exercise clearly benefits the body and mind, keeping us fit, strong, and mentally sharp. Yet some, in their zeal, overexert themselves, pushing through pain and straining joints or muscles past prudent limits. Stoics avoid such self-punishing extremes, which offer diminishing returns and increased injury risk. They instead build sustainable routines that respect the body's signals while keeping faculties tuned. In action and repose, one also requires balance. Sleep, though crucial for restoration, loses benefit in gross excess. Meanwhile, endless activity without rest fatigues us and wears us down prematurely. The Stoic rhythms each day mindfully, noting when exertion and recuperation are respectively needed. They shape habits that modulate effort, centered around attuned self-awareness. Finding this equilibrium, admittedly, takes work in our age of overabundance and stimulation. But practicing mindful moderation offers rich rewards. By avoiding ceaseless busyness, we reduce unhealthy stress. In turning from endless consumption toward simplicity, we frequently eat better and support the environment. With balanced activity, we maintain physical health while avoiding burnout. And by not overexalting the beauty of the body, we reduce anxiety about superficial ideals. In all this, moderation allows us to access deeper meaning and contentment. The insightful emperor Marcus Aurelius thus reminded himself, "Very little is needed to make a happy life." By practicing wisdom and moderation even in physical realms, Stoics smooth their journey through fleeting time, focused on the expansive present. Our transient bodies become not a burden but vehicles toward enlightenment. 4. Physical training. Integrating regular activity serves most seekers well on the journey toward human flourishing. We inhabit these remarkable bodies only briefly. Attending to their care allows us to fully experience this gift of embodiment. And just as mental exercise expands consciousness, physical exertion develops somatic awareness and resilience. Training can be a moving meditation if it is mindfully practiced. As your unique path unfolds, listen deeply to discover those forms of movement that provide joy and renewal rather than strain. Perhaps walking stimulates creative thoughts as landscapes slowly shift. Maybe yoga's static stretches help unwind tension and see challenges anew. Or cycling's rhythmic cadence speeds the incubation of knotty problems. I cannot ordain your appropriate activities. Only you can read your bodily state with philosophical clarity. Lean towards sustainable self-care rather than extreme fitness achievements to chase fleeting glory. Mastery over marathon distances or maximum weight lifted matters little compared to how training nourishes your lifetime flourishing. Prizing self-awareness and balance prevents injury while freeing energy toward purpose beyond physiological limits alone. Physical training at its best fosters a harmonious mind-body dialogue, choices attuned to your evolving embodiment rather than external validation. So listen deeply, stripping away assumptions that obscure intuition's quiet voice. Move with expanding self-knowledge into possibilities awesome in scope. 5. Self-discipline. Crafting a rewarding existence requires governing impulsive desires that lead to excess. Left unrestrained, yearnings for rich foods and drinks and narcotic escapes from tedium tempt us to mistreat our bodily vessels. Yet indulging cravings for immediate pleasure often exact long-term harm, both physical and mental. Here, philosophy's role is crucial. to question the tempting assumption that gratifying each whim promises happiness. Through mindful reason, we can recognize indulgent acts that destabilize health for what they are, irrational and self-defeating. But insight alone does not confer discipline. Like training the body through exercise, we must drill behaviors to ingrain new habits aligned with long-view wisdom. This means resisting socially condoned mindlessness around consumption. It requires vigilance to plan nourishing meals in moderate portions that are indulgently savored. We must expend the effort to schedule activities that, unlike substance escapes, expand vital energies rather than deplete them. And when we inevitably falter in maintaining self-regulation, philosophy counsels self-forgiving accountability to resume the journey rather than spiraling self-criticism. Our visions of perfection should inspire progression while recognizing universal human fallibility. Progress on the path comes not from harsh self-reproach, but from compassionate reason, gently redirecting actions toward sustainable self-care in each new moment. When treated thus, this transient embodied existence becomes not a chaotic battlefield of warring impulses, but a site of measured inner development. And from such whole self-discipline blossoms the true promise of a life lived wisely. 6. Listen to your body. Silence the ceaseless mental chatter for a period each day, perhaps through meditative walks or yoga's static stretches. Here, absent distraction, physical sensations start to surface. The pull of fatigued muscles, stirring pangs of hunger, compressed anxiety within the chest. The body speaks in sensations and symptoms, each carrying messages worth decoding through patient attention. Begin reintegrating activities that nourish modest strength training to maintain mobility, foods that energize without weighing down digestive processes, and breathing practices to discharge turbulence. Start small, yet act consistently to tune somatic intelligence distorted by years of neglect. When acute pain or illness arises, let it cue slowing down to restore balance rather than pushing relentlessly on. Even injury may educate us, encouraging modification around newly recognized limits. Every bodily state offers philosophical lessons tailored to our readiness. Honoring the body's wisdom liberates us from ceaseless striving for external goals, disconnected from inner needs. We relinquish exhausting acceleration to instead rediscover sustainable rhythms. No longer imposed by rigid schemas, physical movement and rest unfold organically like the cycles of the moon. As thinking gives way to embodied presence, we reclaim this transient frame from its status as an object to boss around. Our physical form becomes once more a subject, alive, conscious, and meriting care in its own right. No longer divorced from the self by limiting constructs, it emerges as self, awakened to each breath as the very field of our essential being. 7. Mindful movement. Rather than rushing through motion mechanically to achieve external ends, pause frequently to inhabit the sensing world this body grants. Feel the interplay of muscle and bone as you sweep the floors. Attend each footfall, connecting earth on your ambling way to work. Mindfully scrub dishes, consciously tracing the contours of the plate and cup. When exercising formally, let go of arbitrary metrics and future results. Instead, explore sensations arising right now. The pull of muscles, the cadence of breath, adjustments keeping joints stacked. Move with a beginner's presence, whether performing your 1000th downward dog or your first tentative warrior pose. Consider adopting a moving meditative practice like Tai Chi, Feldenkrais, or mindful dance. Here you investigate subtle inner tides through gentle, flowing sequences. Thoughts fade to the background as you marinate in sensation, breath matched to motion. Immerse in activities differently too, not to perfect technique but to feel, explore, and play. Twist slack lines under bare feet rather than racing competitively across them. Wander slowly through the woods rather than marching to notch mileage. Plunge arms through water as melody to a silent symphony. For a spare minute or an hour, choose not productivity but presence, observing inner tides through movement consciously connected to the now. Save strained striving for robotic realms. Our living body in its unfurling moment calls for something more: attention, listening, compassion, and wonder. Heed this call and motion becomes meditation, life's routines transforming into art. 8. Resilience and adaptability. Our transient existence is beset by all manner of troubles. Illness assaults the body, calamity disrupts our lives. Even absent acute crises, daily pains and irritants plague routine. As reasoning souls, how we meet such inevitabilities shapes the selves forged in these crucibles. Shall we construct lives that are brittle or resilient when floods of fortune arrive? Stoic philosophy counsels cultivating adaptability and courage rather than clinging to fragility in this climate of uncertainty. Accept bodily discomfort and impairment as intrinsic to the human journey, neither panicking nor growing embittered at their visitation. With clear vision unobscured by frustration, we discern each challenge as instructive, calling forth growth in its wake. When sickness or injury befalls the body, undergo prescribed remedies with equanimity while nurturing self-care. Avoid an anxious fixation on idealized timelines for healing. Instead, patiently tend the progression, relentlessly practicing small recoveries within current limitations. Whether full function restores or impairment persists, adapt activities around evolving circumstances with resourceful initiative focused on the next right action. In illness's stillness, explore life's neglected dimensions now brightly illuminated in pain's spotlight. Marvel at the myriad blessings flowing, even confined to quarters. Study the empathetic wisdom a brush with frailty bestows. Dictate insights from infirmity's view, fresh with revelation. Create new art never conceived without this creative constraint. Thus, we build rugged resilience and perspective to weather 100-year storms felling brittle boughs. Viewing hardship as soil enrichment summons buried metal to shoulder, necessary loads when fair weather fellows have fled. Our adaptable body becomes no prison of terminal anguish, but a workshop continuously improving, receptive, and responding to life's essential curriculum. Through crises endured with brave and buoyant spirit, our true stalwart nature is discovered. If you enjoyed these Stoic insights on embracing our physicality on the journey toward human flourishing, please don't forget to like and subscribe.